Welcome to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. This podcast is created for purpose-driven women just like you who crave more. On the Fruitful Faith podcast, you can expect Christ-centered conversations that will help you to cultivate a life that you and He love. We'll be talking about topics that matter, topics that impact your everyday life. We'll talk about anything from how to transition with grace, to what to do when you're overwhelmed, to how to be content and joyful right where God's got you. It's going to be good. Let's dive on in. Well, hey, and welcome back to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. I'm Alexandra Cavell, certified professional master life coach, founder of Grace-Based Christian Coaching. I love so much that you are tuning in today and am excited to share a book review with you. So this isn't a traditional podcast episode, but what we'll be doing in this, quickie, if you will, this brief one, it's sharing highlights from a recent read and then a few coaching questions to pair with them. So if you maybe love to read, love a good, I tend to be more on the nonfiction side. So if you love a good nonfiction book, love to soak up the insights that come from it, but are short on free time, I've got you. This is what these episodes are all about. I'm going to share a few favorite quotes from them and some coaching questions that align with them too. So today, this time, we're going to be digging into a book called The Slight Edge, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Success and Happiness. So this book, it's not as much it's not faith-based. But what I will do is kind of connect some faith-based questions to it, so that you can really get to the heart of some things and be able to let this lead by faith while still being helpful and applicable in other ways. So with that, let's dig on in and let's hear some different tools and tips and techniques about living with a slight edge. Okay, so the first quote is that success does not lead to happiness. It's the other way around. More happiness creates more success. So my question for you here is what's the place that you're working from? Are you working from a place of hustle? Are you working from a place of holiness? I'd encourage you to get right with the Lord, quiet your heart, spend time with Him, no matter how many things are on your to-do list, and then begin. Because when you work from that place of peace with God, everything else seems to figure itself out. Next one is greater happiness is key to making the slight edge work in your life. So what I would add here is to start in relationship with Christ, and then all else is going to flow from that. And so that gets me thinking about 1 John 4:19. We love because He first loved us. So letting yourself be loved, letting yourself be cared for so that you can pour that out. The place that you're working from is going to be critical if you want different results than what you're experiencing now. All right, next one is that everything is always in motion. Every day, every moment, your life path is either curving upward or curving downward. So my question for you here is, what do you want to be a part of and partner with? Right? Where our eyes go, our attention flows, something like that. So where do you want your attention to be? Do you want to set your mind and heart on things that are above, or are they focused in other areas? And so just being critical, being considerate of what that might be, and hitting reset if you need to. That's okay. Next quote, he says that there are two kinds of habits, those that serve you and those that don't. So question for you would be, which are you pouring into? Sometimes we are just in a routine of doing things that do not serve us well, just because we're used to it, just because we're comfortable, because change is hard. Let's stop. What is it time to let go of? Where could you be more consistent? And when you are more consistent, what is on the other side of that? Next, he says you have a choice over your habits, or you have choice over your habits through your choice of everyday actions. So my invitation here for you is to choose one daily action that gives you life. And if you really have to simplify it, go to the Great Command and Great Commission. Love God and love others. Ask yourself, how can you do one of those things, both of those things well today? Or another fabulous question is, Jesus, where do you want me to focus today? Great places to start. All right, then he says, start with a plan, make the plan simple. The point of the plan is not that it will get you there, but that it will get you started. So, one of my favorite Bible study teachers, she says, one of her favorite quotes is that the hardest part is to start. So, don't let that get to you. Know that if it's hard to start, that's normal. Make it easy. Make it easy, make it simple, and then build on momentum. All right, another one is to write. He says, write out a single daily discipline for each facet of your life. I love this. So, if you've not already listened to it, I'd encourage you to go to season 1 of the podcast, scroll down. I think it's episodes between 1 and 10, something like that, where I dig into 7 different goals. So, if you're trying to goal set and you really want to do it in the simplest form, I break it into several different categories and help you break it down into how to really pour into these. But to make it even simpler than that, too, um, maybe think about what facets of your life are most important and what's one goal for each of those. So, perhaps fitness, walk a mile each day. Faith, it could be just listening to one worship song in the morning, just really keeping it simple and then keeping it consistent. Next, he says that the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Well, actually, that's a quote from Ralph Walter Emerson that was included in the book. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. And that's just sort of one of those mic drops, right? Who do you want to give yourself permission to be? Who are you putting a box around yourself? Are you putting a box around God? What if you just let that go? Who might that person be? What might they look like? What might they do? And enjoy being there and being that person. You can start today. Then he says, what has rescued you from failure in the past? You'll be a success if you keep doing those things. So perhaps the coaching question here is, what's a habit that you can be proud of and thank God for? Next is simple habits and success habits slash simple daily disciplines are little things that seem insignificant in the doing, yet when compounded over time, yield very big results. So when I think of this, I think of Laura Casey, founder of Cultivate What Matters. One of her favorite things to share that's so true is that little by little adds up. So what do you want to be known for? I'm thinking of the idea of a bank account. How a lot of folks will say that a bank account, the way you spend your money says a lot about you. And I'm going to challenge you to think of your time like a bank account and think about the way you spend your time. What does that say about you? And what do you want to do about that? Next is have the philosophy that failure is not an option. And remember that successful people fail their way to the top. So, a couple examples that were given is, of course, Michael Jordan. He did not make his high school basketball team. What in the world? And Thomas Edison. He's quoted, right, for saying he found thousands of ways not to make the light bulb. So, just in that, remembering like you're in good company. Not everyone hits a big, simple, or quick, or easy. In fact, there's a lot of failure that the most successful people have walked through, right? It's almost like grit or endurance or resilience. That is what's important. Consistency is what's important. That's the difference maker. Always like to think that time will pass, right? No matter what, time is going to pass. So you might as well be intentional and thoughtful about what you are doing with your time. And then a quick little equation that was shared that was a good one is that consistently repeated daily actions plus time equals inconquerable results. Yep. And then last but not least, he says successful people form habits that feed their success instead of habits that feed their failure. They choose to have the slight edge work for them, not against them. So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but coaching question here would be, what are you nurturing? Where is your attention going? What do you want to be loyal and committed to? So there you go. Some of my personal favorites from that Slight Edge book. I hope this gave you a boost. I hope this gave you some motivation to get out there, to live differently, to do the thing, and to do it in a Christ-centered way, first and foremost. Let today be your reset. I hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to catching up next time. Did you love this episode? I would love to invite you to apply for a clarity call if so. Through the clarity call, it'll give us a chance to get to know one another and determine whether grace based Christian coaching is a good fit for you for meeting your goals. Through the clarity call, we'll dig into where you're stuck, how the Lord is leading you forward, and then what it could be like to work together. By the end of your complimentary 45-minute conversation with me, you'll walk away feeling focused, uplifted, and have a greater hope for the future. You would have a better sense of what coaching package could be the best fit for your goals, and if we're a go, we can even get started within a week or 2 after that conversation. Does that sound exciting? If so, if you are feeling the nudge to go ahead and potentially connect, I would love to invite you to head on over to gracebasechristiancoaching.com, click the Book Online tab, and you will find a link to apply right there for your clarity call. Hope to meet you soon.